This call is being recorded.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Man Cave. It is I, MrTonedef. I have been away because I've been on consignment lately, working on expanding the brand, reaching out to individuals who are looking at starting their own pods, working on docu-series, and just making sure that we are fine-tuned as an organization as a whole. But no fret. As you can see, both Cal and Jacob has been holding it down here in the cave by themselves. Let's be honest, they want to get away from the women that they deal with in their everyday life, so they need to hide in the cave. I completely understand. Just to give you guys a fair warning, it is hot today. Not just only here at Tonedefradio studio, it is hot all over the U.S. So you might actually hear fans in the background coming from all of us today. We apologize in advance. It is hot, okay? I'll try to do whatever I can to keep the fan noises to a minimum. But if you hear them, you just hear them. All right? This is a podcast world. We ain't getting paid the big bucks to have central air. All right. With that being said, people, as you know, we did not record last week because we were celebrating national independence from white people by other white people. But as us black people know, it's National Have the Day Off Day. We get a few of those every year. So we try to celebrate them and take the time to enjoy being off work, getting paid, unless you happen to be in the retail on the ground level or in the medical field. I'm sorry, they still have to go to work, or security, because you niggas don't know how to act in the clubs on at night. But as you noticed, the theme around TDR, as you've been listening to some of our pods, is we've been diving into the world of relationships. It's the summertime. This is usually the time of the year when most single people will let you know they single. I mean, I've been seeing single groups pop up. I've been seeing so many people expressing the not need for bae because they single in the summer. I've even seen people post memes of little fat kids saying, "I'm not summer ready, but you gonna get what you gonna get." So we here at the Man Cave felt like the world focuses so much on the women when we do discussions about relations, such as in how to cater to a woman, how to keep the woman that you want, why the relationship didn't work out for the woman, men ain't shit, all these different kind of things that basically cater to the ego of the woman, saying, "Don't fret, ma'am, you will find the man that you really want." We here at the Man Cave are basically getting ready to tell you that's a bunch of bullshit. Okay? As we start today, it is going to be a series of episodes, probably spanning from now until Labor Day, where we are going to talk to our male counterparts, because this is the Man Cave, and we are going to talk specifically to you guys. And number one, it ain't always about them when it comes to relationships. And number two, we are actually going to talk to you guys and help a lot of you guys get from up under your own rock. Now, disclaimer, I am not targeting anybody directly. Any of the topics or episodes that you guys will start hearing from, as a matter of fact, I'm not speaking to anybody's problem directly at all. Anything that you hear from us going forward through this whole entire series is all a generalization based on activities, actions that I have seen universally since my early 20s when it comes to men in dating. Okay? And that's the only married person left on TDR. I honestly can say I'm probably the best person to listen to out of everybody. Just saying. Kind of know what I'm talking about. But with that being said, tonight's episode is going to be a little special. Sum it up in a nutshell. We are basically talking about commitment. Yes, I know. I just gave you this whole entire spiel about, hey, it's supposed to be the summertime. Everybody's single, enjoying life, having fun, woo this and woo that. So why are you talking about commitments, Tom? Well, the reason why I'm going to talk about commitment today is because this is how we are going to start the whole entire conversations with men, or as I like to refer to, dating 211. Okay? Because everybody always talks about dating 101s, what you need to do to be able to go out here and date in the world. No, I am sick and tired of telling everybody the basics because we're grown ass adults right now, and grown ass adults should know how to at least do the basics of approaching a person. But we're going to digress and explain some things that why after you approach the person, the relationship itself might not go anywhere. All right? So, topic for today is commitment. Is this the person that you're supposed to be committed to? Or is this not the person that you're supposed to be with? All right? So, of course, as always, here in the Man Cave, I'm joined by my cave brothers. I got Jacob in the building right now. Cal is out on consignment taking care of some personal business, so he definitely will be joining us later. Let's be honest, people. We don't need Cal being Cal early in the show. We got to get the basics out the way before we unleash the beast. So, we'll go ahead and start with my boy Jacob here in the building. Now, Jacob, this past week on the episode that dropped on the breakdown, you kind of started the show explaining that you recently just started getting back out into the world and you kind of are on the fence about dating. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically.
Not directly attacking you because I don't want you to think that's what we're going to do tonight, even though you might feel like it. You might feel like it. So answer me this question. What are some of the reasons why what are some of the fears that you have about dating? Let's start there.
It's not really fear. My whole thing is, and I've been saying this for a minute on the Man Cave, is if I want to be out in the dating world, I feel, this is just me, this ain't nobody else, that I should be able to go out and date doing it my way, as far as where I want to go, where I want to take you, what we're going to do, and have the money to do so. For the past, I can't even think how long it's been. For a minute, I've been out of the employment deal because, like I said before, I've been trying to get my disability. Well, one thing came to another, and I decided, you know what, I need to go back to work. It just don't make no sense. That was my main reason of not jumping out in the dating scene, was because of the money issue. And I just don't feel right. And I know everybody like, well, you could date and the woman can pay and this and that. I'm not knocking that. I'm not saying it's not gonna happen, because it does. Even in like marriages and stuff, every once in a while, hey, I'm gonna take you out. I'm gonna do this. Understand me. I just feel like getting out in the dating scene, especially getting back out there, I need to be able to stand on my own 10 toes. Let's go ahead.
Okay. Now,
so that's the reason.
Okay. Now, normally here on the Man Cave, Jacob accuses us of attacking him and beating him down because he won't get out in the world and date. Now, one thing that I have to actually step back and immediately apologize in regards to is a lot of times we would tell Jacob, just get out there and do you, bro. Go out there and have some fun, get wild, do this, do that. But I have to remind myself, first and foremost,
I'm from the South. Oh,
no, not even. We're not even gonna put that in there. Demographics. You know what? Believe it or not, demographics don't play as much of a factor as you think it does.
I'm just saying, I'm a gentleman.
No. And here's the thing. I know there's people from the West Coast that are gentlemen. There's people from the South that are gentlemen. You can be a gentleman. No, you can be a gentleman, but you also have to remember the woman that you're approaching. That may not be what she's accustomed to. So
Yeah.
when it comes to dating, one of the mistakes that I made by not really presenting this when I'm usually speaking to you is you have to understand the target audience that you are trying to reach when you are out there dating. Me and Cal might say, hey man, get out there and date and have some fun. But I have to remind myself, what target audience am I aiming you at? We are not that young 20 to 25-year-old age where we can make mistakes with who we try to talk to and whatnot. And if that doesn't work, we can just move on to the next person. And because we got so many choices. No. We are in the upper echelons of life where we're in the late 30s, early 40s, where, let's be honest, picking is not as ample as it is when you're 20. A lot of people have been wifed up. A lot of people are damaged from previous relationships. Some folks have gotten it to the point in their life that they never want to be in a relationship again. But we also have to remember that not everybody wants a relationship as the end goal. Today's society has now gotten to the point where dating doesn't always lead to commitment. Some people date to occupy their time, to occupy their space. Some people date for friendships, okay? Some people date for sexual connectivity. Instead of them hopping from bed to bed and being promiscuous with everybody, they'll come to a mutual agreement with another and say, hey, I don't want a relationship. I don't want the problems with the relationship. I don't want to get married again or anything of that nature. I just want somebody that I can go to dinner with and then come home and make me their dinner. That's all I want. And a young guy will be like, hell yeah, I'm all over that. But as an older guy, as a guy that's in our age, we ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
Like that's not our mentality anymore. So I have to remind myself when I'm giving advice to people, I have to realize what age category am I talking to? Where are you at in life? Okay. Now, me and you have had the conversation before, and we've definitely have said that, you're not against getting married again. You're not against reestablishing a new relationship and going to that point. But you also have to ask yourself, is anybody on that same level that who's approaching you? Because you have been approached by ladies. We've had this conversation before. You do have the ladies that shoot their shot. When you're talking to these ladies, have you ever sat down and asked what they wanted?
I always do. Just like you just said, people want different things. A lot of the women that I've come in contact with are just on a sexual thing. I ain't knocking, but I don't know. I think it's got to do with my bringing up and being in a church background. Definitely. I want more than that. I need somebody I can connect with more on a different level. I've been approached by a lot of ratchets.
Okay. Now, I'm kind of glad you brought that up. And this is not... No. I'm glad you brought that up. Now, that actually leads into my next point. When we out here are on the verge of courting or looking for somebody, we do tend to forget. We have to also look at the type of people that are attracted to us or attracted to these situations going to universally be the same kind of mind state in regards to it.
Yeah.
When you have a lot of people who have, like you said, the ratchet mentality, the ratchet concept, they are never on a point where they are ready for commitment because they're having too much fun.
Yeah.
Okay. They're enjoying this single life. Our age categories, we have women who are grandmothers before they're 40. Okay. Not knocking they hustle, but they've already raised the kids and they don't feel like they want to raise any more kids. So you'll get some of these women that just want to go out here and live their best life. You have some that they've always been ratchet. They've always been that kind of person, and they're not ready to step out that realm of being someone that's serious or someone that wants to be committed. They just want to go out here and have fun and find somebody to go eat with. That's all they want. Yeah. So the category of the women that are approaching you, you can kind of tell that whatever this woman is, she only wants one thing and one thing only. So you don't have to put that same energy. Mm-hmm. So taking that concept of, hey, I don't have a job, I don't have money or income coming in, I don't have this or that. They don't care about that because that's not what they're after. They don't care about that because the only thing that they're looking at is someone who's going to sit here and entertain them. Someone who's going to have a conversation with them, someone who is going to listen to them and maybe just sit in the nail shop with them and talk Asian chick because she don't know what she's saying. Sometimes just doing simple things of taking them to KFC to grab a 20-piece hot wings and then going back to her place afterwards is as far as her mentality has ever gone. So a lot of times we put stamps and we put ideas of commitment on people that's not even the level that we're even trying to reach. Like, everybody is not meant to be wifey. Sometimes some of these people are strictly just there for fun. And when we tell you, hey bro, go out there, enjoy your life, have your fun, a lot of times these might be the ones we're telling you to say, hey man, go out there and have your fun, because these are never going to be the kind of women that want to be with you long term, because long term is not in their agenda.
And honestly, I think it would be more comfortable for me. I'm in a place to where I'm uncomfortable myself right now because I'm not used to not having. Like, I'm not used to not working. This ain't me. Like, I ain't used to this. So it feels kind of weird.
It's weighing heavy. Yeah, it's weighing heavy. Don't get me wrong, bro. I've been there. I've definitely been there.
So my mind ain't even, for real, like, until we was talking about it, my mind ain't even been on that. Like, I ain't even trying to get back out there. I wasn't even thinking about it. Like, it was nothing. Like, my last relationship, the way it ended, I decided I was going to do me. I'm going to do me. I ain't tripping about none of this. I always say that people need to take time to get to know themselves after a relationship, whether it's ended bad, whatever it is, and figure out what was going on. Well, I did that. I started dating myself because I've never done it before, but I always say this is what you need to do. So I decided to take my own advice. I started going to the movies by myself. I was bowling. I was doing some of everything, and it was just me. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I started liking it.
Here's the funny thing. Everything you just said, it's the same thing that a lot of women are being told, but a lot of women make the mistake of allowing the physical desires to overrule. Now, if you've ever listened to the Man Cave people, I mean, you've also know that we often talk about Socially Awkward, which is Mimi So 100 show. Mimi is very open and honest about anything when it comes to sexual nature and how you feel about yourself and your liberation of yourself as a woman. I wouldn't call her a feminist, but she's basically just saying in so many words, whatever the hell you do, accept it. And that's the kind of same thing we like to say here in our own little way. With that being said, one of the things that Mimi has definitely brung up, and her girls have confirmed it, is a lot of times women do have an internal clock that affects their thinking. After about a 90-day period of not engaging in anything, any kind of physical touch or whatnot with the opposite sex or the same sex, if that's what they like, they tend to give in and regress. Okay? What I mean by this is they start this whole entire I'm a do for me process, but once the physical is no longer being satisfied the way that they are accustomed to, they tend to fall back into their ways and learn to accept and be with somebody or deal with somebody that they know was not for everybody. So it's for the ladies that actually do tune into the man cave. Not every woman does this or falls into this 90-day trap. We got some people who have been single and celibate for years upon years, but they not gonna sit here and lie to you and say that their body doesn't make them want to do things that they want to do. Mm-hmm. They're not gonna lie like that either. All right. Now, with that being said, this rolls into another thing about commitment. The initial title of this show is this person afraid to commit to you, or are you just not really the one? From a male's perspective, a lot of times women accuse us men of stringing them along. Okay? Being placeholders while they try to get themselves together. Use the women as anchors to make themselves better. Okay? Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you ladies. There are most definitely some men out there that do that. In the world of dating to me is actually broken up into 3 categories. I'm going to go ahead and use the pool reference because when trying to figure out a way to explain this seems to be the one that made it the easiest to be able to explain. The world of dating is broken into about 3 different pools. You have the kiddie pool, you have the shallow end, and you have the deep end. Okay? When it comes to who you pursue, just by the names of each one of these pools can give you an idea of what kind of people exist in each one of these pools. Mm-hmm. A kiddie pool is literally somebody who's very inexperienced in the dating world or very simple-minded in their goals in regards to the dating pool. Usually the kiddie pool, like it said, usually consists of the younger generation of people in the initial beginning. When you're going through your puberty stage and you're just learning about dating and getting to know people. You also this is the phase when people just try anything to see what sticks to the wall and what works. Inexperienced daters, regardless of how old you are, can be in the kiddie pool. For us men, when we go out and we look for someone who we potentially plan on talking to, we immediately can recognize a woman from the kiddie pool. Not to shoot down any woman or talk about any woman that happens to fit this motif, but in so many words, you usually your ratchet ones, your loud ones, your ones who are easily impressed by money, flashy clothes. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of times they wear loud color hairs. They wear revealing clothing where you see more of them than you should be seeing because you don't know them. You see everything. They're heavy social media users, ones who feel like they need to express every single thing. They post memes all day about the kind of woman they are and the kind of man they want. Sex is top priority to a lot of them. So a lot of things that they refer to or they talk about will invoke sexual desires. A lot of people who are in the kiddie pool have nothing more to offer than sex. Okay? So for the women that are listening, this is also where some of the men who dive in your DMs come from. They are kiddie pool people. They go to sex as their go-to because that's all they know. Okay? That's all they know. That's all they think about. And that's all they function. Both men and women. Us men, we know a woman that's in the kiddie pool. So whenever we want an easy conquest or an easy out or an easy lay, this is who we go for. We know by simply the way we approach you and how you respond to it, if we have an immediate know that this person is a kiddie pool. Now, yes, you might say, well, you can't judge a person by how they dress and how and whatnot. No, we don't. Because we know some of the most sophisticated women can get easily ratchet when it's time to go out. They need to unwind and unleash. But the thing about it is a kiddie pool person compared to a shallow end person, what you see is what you get all the time. A kiddie pool person is someone whose mentality has never grown past that introductory level of dating, no matter how old they are. A kiddie pool dater can also be somebody who's been in a relationship for so long that now that they're out in the dating world, they don't know how to start. Some of your most awkward daters are people in the kiddie pool trying to pass as intermediate or deep end people. Unfortunately, you can read these people fast, because the minute you go out on that first date with them, because they might be attractive, they might have said a little something that got you intrigued, so you will go on a date with them. Now, ladies, I know we said we're not going to target to y'all, but a lot of time your kiddie pool people or your kiddie pool men are most definitely your "what are you doing" texters. Okay? Your kiddie pool people are your notorious spontaneous people. Your kiddie pool daters are people who say, "I don't like talking on the phone, I prefer to text."
Yeah.
Men, your kiddie pool women are the ones who always want to know what your financial status is. They go for, the kiddie pool woman because they all got. We sit here and we constantly talk about how people will spend $300 on a belt, but don't have a car that runs. It doesn't matter, because those kind of men are aiming for kiddie pool women. So, you ask yourself, well, Tone, what if to happens to be a kiddie pool like woman? Well, go for it. But know that think you're going to go in a long-term relationship with this woman. Enjoy the moment. A kiddie pool woman is definitely a YOLO woman. A lot of your summer flings came from kiddie pool women. A lot of guys who brag about the chicks that they bag kiddie pool women. So I don't care how cute she looks. I don't care how fire the head is. I don't care how nasty she got down on the D. Once that is out the equation, if boys the hell out of you, no reason whatsoever, her behaviors is off the chart, and you know damn well you cannot bring her home to mama. Why are you wasting your time outside of the section? Get what you're going to get to the point where you feel like you're going to be bored with it and move around. Do not put forth effort to try to make a kiddie pool woman the woman you want to spend the rest of your life for, just because she get nasty on the D. That's the biggest mistake a lot of the younger generation makes right now. And it's also the same thing that's trapping a lot of men into having these baby mama drama situations, because you allowed this kiddie pool woman to infiltrate your world and wreck it when she never had any intention of being anything more than what she was, which was a piece of ass. All right. Number two. The second one is the intermediate pool, or the shallow end. Now, ironically, this is where 85% of the dating world exists in. The shallow end is funny. It's fun. It's complicated. It's annoying. It's what we live for. Majority of your marriages that you see people in come from the shallow pool. Marriages that have not made it past the 5-year mark are shallow end relationships. Now, for those of you guys who are still listening, because Tone is on a roll right now, I'm going to explain to you the shallow relationships. Now, a shallow end person is definitely someone who may have been in the kiddie pool. As a matter of fact, let me clear this up. Everybody has been in the kiddie pool at one form in your life. Whether you were young, dumb, and full of cum, you freshly got out of a relationship and you was living your best life, or you just happen to like kiddie pool people. Everybody has been there. So know can say, that's not me. You were there at one point. It may have been a brief moment, but you were there. Okay? The shallow end is when you've kind of matured a little bit. You've dated a couple of people that were not good for you. You've had great relationships. You've done the fun of having random sex with people, and that's all you want, or situationships, as we say. You've had your fun being the side piece. You mentally have matured. Okay? You're not caring about the Gucci belt or the skin tight clothes or how fat that ass is anymore. Those are now just pluses. You need substance. Most of your single conversations you are in that age are from shallow end people. Single groups, books, seminars, conferences, speed datings, talk shows, podcasts, all these things that are out there to help teach you how to get a better mate. Hell, this fucking episode is for shallow end people. Now, don't let the word shallow confuse you, because you're not being self-centered, keeping everything to yourself. No, shallow end people are just meaning that you have not progressed to the point where you are no longer making adjustments in your life. You have now hit a plateau that you are comfortable at. In a relationship, it's probably one of the biggest pieces that you're missing right now. You see, one of the things that we tend to do is, once we've had our fill of dealing with women in the kiddie pool, we want women of substance. We're sick and tired of taking chicks to dinners, whether it be a simple thing as an Applebee's date, or even trying to go to somewhere nice or upscale, because we're kind of feeling this chick. We're tired of the dead-end conversations. We're tired of they only talk about what happened on Love and Hip Hop, or they girls got them tripping, or this bitch at work got them fucked up. We're tired of those kind of girls. So we tend to now want a woman with a little bit of substance. But here's the problem that a lot of us make. We don't know what to define the kind of woman we want. So we date them all. We come up with a list of things that we want our relationship or the person we're interested in to have, to make us say, fuck these bitches in the kiddie pool. I'm going to exclusively focus on you. But in the kiddie pool in the shallow end men, we make some of the most gravest mistakes in our lives that cause us to be in relationships that tend to fizzle out quickly. Is we focus heavily on basic requirements that should not be a top contender in what makes us want to be with that woman. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest things that we do this day and age is we tend to put specific labels of importances, or as one of the people that I've spoken to, gender roles. Oh, I gotta have a woman that cooks like mama. I gotta have a woman that does this here. I gotta have a woman that does that there. I need my woman to be submissive whenever I'm the one controlling the situation. I need her to hold me down whenever we have hard issues. We have so many groups, chats, conversations, discussions, talk shows, podcasts, that the whole concept of communicating to the shallow end people to say, hey, it's okay to want basic people. You find you a person who has basic abilities, and we immediately should want to wife her. If she can cook, she's a keeper. If she has no problem with going to work and then coming home and sucking your dick, you should keep her. You should do everything in your power to make her want to say yes when you propose to her. Fuck that shit. Okay? Fuck all that shit. Check this out, my guys. Just a minute ago, Jacob said he's been dating himself. That is a fantastic thing. I strongly recommend everybody to do that. I recommend you to date yourself before you date anybody, even if you've never been on a date. Here's the reason why. Yeah. You cannot be fooled by propaganda and BS that someone can present to you if you know exactly what you already can do and you don't do. For an example, if a woman can cook, who gives a fuck? How the hell else has she been eating if she didn't know how to cook to begin with? Before she knew you, she was cooking. Before you knew her, you was cooking. So whether or not she can cook doesn't mean a goddamn thing. Cooking is how you freaking survive. Unless you're eating raw food or doing a lot of fast food or going out to eat all the time, which number one makes that person not even want someone you want to be with, because one, she's always going to want to go out to eat when you go on dates, so that's unnecessary money that's being spent. And two, she's fucking unhealthy because she hasn't had a freaking healthy meal in her life whatsoever. No, you don't want that, okay? So anybody who comes to you and says, well, I can cook, I do this, I do that, immediately walk away from that situation, because she's going to give you all these criteria that any other woman out here can give you. Number two, man. Okay? We say this all the time, but as you get older and the desire for this starts to fade away, you start to realize you are not content where you are because you have choices. Do not make long-term decisions off of short-term sexual gratifications. What we tend to find out is, as we get older as men, the veil becomes revealed that the same girls that we grew up with in high school that would say they don't do or won't is doing everything we always wanted them to do.
Any and everything.
Yes. Sexual compatibility is very important, okay? Sometimes finding your sexual soulmate is so hard to do because we all please differently. Women would tell you in a heartbeat that the way this man's not the same way that man eats her out. She might be talking to 3 different dudes because sexually each one of them does something different to them, to her sexually. Okay?
Yeah.
Don't judge her. Because every woman does not sexually satisfy you the exact same way. So stop making your decisions based on how good the sex is. Because what will happen is, over time, the sex will start to fade away. Now, a lot of these women sit up here and they're like, when I get a man, I'm going to want sex all the time. I have a high sex drive. I'm a nympho. I have a hard time finding a man who can keep up with what I need sexually. You want to know why? Because that's probably all you have to offer. Ooh. So you want to give it to him as much as possible to burn him out. See, a lot of women feel that men cheat because they're not sexually satisfied. So they want to give it to him anyway, in every way that they know how to give it to him.
Yep.
To think that that's going to make them stay. But what happens is, overall, sexually, we get burnt out. As men, we get tired. If we come entirely too much, we get erectile dysfunction. That means there's a period of time that we have to take a break. We have to allow our body to regenerate itself so we can be able to get back in the game. Okay? But what ends up happening is these women will make accusations that we're doing something else. Now, this is going to roll me over to number 3. Get to know your mate or your potential mate mentally before you get to know them physically. A lot of women have not decompressed from their male issues prior to before meeting you. Now, let me run that back and pay close attention to what I said. A lot of women have not decompressed from their male issues before dealing with you. Their male issues can range from anything as in the last man they dated, a guy from their younger years who they gave everything to, who was just not interested in them, the way that men treat her at work, her dad not being around, her dad being somebody doing things that, let's just say, is not cool. At the end of the day, these women will have some kind of male issue that will cause them to feel that every man from there on out must be treated a certain way. You'll get these women who feel they have to break their man from their habits before they can even get involved with them.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of men love aggressive women, but a crazy chick and an aggressive woman is not the same thing, fellas. If a chick shows you that her methodology in regards to how she handles situations has to always be an escalated situation, that is not a situation you need to be in. She has not learned how to decompress her male issue to properly handle conflicts that are destined to happen in relationships. As men, we don't have to take that or accept that. It is not our job to fix a woman who was broken by somebody else.
Say that again. Say it again.
Oh gosh,
Okay.
You know what? I'm gonna get a T-shirt that say that.
I just said, say that
Okay.
again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
All right. Now, let me take that one step further. The reason why nice guys finish last is because we always want to fix the broken.
Yeah.
Nice men will always gravitate to broken women. Not because we want to take advantage of the situation, okay? But we see what a great woman either A, you used to be, or that you could be if you can let go of this problem. But as nice guys, we want to present them to show, hey, whatever that guy did to you, that's not how all of us is. I'm the complete opposite. Come love me. I won't do that to you. Nice guys, stop doing that. Because what you're doing is you're not letting her heal.
Yeah.
You're not allowing her to let go of all that pain, that suffering, that anguish. She has to go through all the proper channels to figure out why that relationship didn't end. When a nice guy walks in and picks up the pieces from a broken girl, you have not allowed that woman to find where her fault was that had happened in that. And the reason why I have to say you must let a woman find their fault, because a lot of times us men walk away from situations because of her. And if we constantly as nice guys validate that woman's behavior is because of a man, not because of them, they will never correct that problem.
Nope.
So men,
they ain't got a problem.
Captain saving them. Exactly. And then they justify that negative mentality as the way that things must be. Yes, their heart is guarded. Yes, they are fearful that the next relationship they get in will behave like the last two relationships. Yes, she is scared that every man that she will ever come in contact with will walk out her life just like her dad did, but that is not your fucking problem.
That really isn't. Stop making it your problem.
Okay? That is not your problem. That is not. Because if you step into that realm and deal with that woman with those issues, and you have not helped her get herself in that situation, you are wasting your time and her time. You will find yourself 8, 9, 10 years down the line saying you out. You will find yourself cheating on her constantly.
Yep.
Okay?
And all you're going to do is just be another story.
Exactly. Because what's going to happen is all those defense mechanisms that she put up that you had to break back down, she's putting them up the minute something reminds her of another situation. Why? Because you haven't let her get past that hurdle yet. So the minute she comes to that hurdle, she's going to put that wall back up. So what you need to do is let her fail. You can be a friend. You can be talking to her. You can be her comrade. You can say that you're interested and you can spend time with her. But you can also let her know that I can't take this relationship any further until you fix you. Be man enough to let them know that. Okay? Be man enough to put it on the table in the beginning and says, hey, this is where I am in my life. This is where you are in your life. I want us to be together, but you can't get past this situation, and I'm not going to be a part of that until you fix that. You may end up having to leave her alone. You may not run into her again for another 6 years, and you can't recognize that woman because she done cleaned herself up so much. But I guarantee you, by you being honest with her, being upfront with her, letting her know this is where you're having issues at, and I really recommend you go fix it, she won't never forget that. She might not ever be with you, but she won't forget that. Right. No, I'm being honest with you. Because when they go to fix their problems, then they see somebody else. And I've actually seen women who have the best man. Like, this dude is fantastic for her. But because she met him during a time in her life that she was broken, she will not date that guy because that would take her back to that broken place. Greatest guy. But because she don't want to go back to that broken mind state or those broken reminders, she won't deal with anybody that's been there. Nobody. Wow. And I told her, like, you know what? On one side of the coin, that's really messed up because this dude is really, really digging. Like, he's been in love with you for decades. But I also understand your logic and your reasoning. But I do feel like you need to tell him and stop stringing him along. Number 5. Because Kyle, you came in here late and I've been on a roll. Okay, Jacob.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother. He on number 5, so go ahead, brother.
All right. So number 5. When you get to the point where you are now feeling comfortable with dealing with a woman in the shallow end, you must, and I repeat, you adjust your method of approachment in accordance to what you are trying to obtain. Number 5, you do have to adjust the way you talk to people because this is how relationships can begin and be successful. What I'm getting ready to tell you guys is the number 1 fail-safe way to avoid yourself from being in the friend zone or being considered a fuckboy to a girl you are 100% serious about settling down with. All right? So get your pen and papers out. All right? Number 1, when you get ready to approach a woman, the way you say what you're trying to say plays a major factor in it. Okay? This is information given to me specifically from women. I specifically reached out to women who I know who are going to be 100% honest and are single. So I'm not asking married people. I'm asking actual single people who have been out here being approached. The way you approach a woman makes a huge difference in what makes them give you an opportunity. Catcalling, as innocent as it can be, and basically from where you're from can vary, doesn't necessarily always get the woman attention. Because a New Yorker, their methodology of how they might to a young woman is going to be completely different than a blood from California would do it. But at the same time, they're both approaching. Now, I'm not saying that every single time that you talk to a girl, guys, you have to talk with proper English and utmost respect and act as if you have a tie on and you're going for a job interview. No. You definitely have to understand the woman that you're approaching. So saying, hey, man, let me holler at you might not work with every single woman. Sometimes you have to actually say, hey, excuse me, ma'am, excuse me, can I speak to you for a minute?
Now, a moment of your time.
Can I have whatever work? Whatever might work. Sometimes you got to understand, you in the shallow pool. The kiddie pool game don't always work. You could be like, hey, shawty, come here for a hot second.
You gotta be like, hey, girl, come here, let me change your life.
See, now that's a kiddie pool. That's how you get the kiddie pool girls. You see, we talking to the intermediate, shallow end women. So when you're talking to these particular women, sometimes a little bit of respectability. Number 2, definitely make sure you let the woman know that that their time is valuable. So as I'm approaching a woman, I'm saying, excuse me, ma'am, can I talk to you for a minute? I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you in a rush. I know you're here with your girls, but I happen to notice you across the room, and I want to see what I can do to be able to get to know you a little bit better. I have to go over here and take care of some business real quick, and I see your girls looking, so I know they definitely ready to go. Is it possible that I might be able to get your number and call you sometimes, and maybe even schedule a date for us to go hang out to get to know each other? What I just did right there in so many words was I acknowledged the fact of why I'm taking up her time. I also acknowledged the fact of her time. I noticed her surroundings, but more importantly, I didn't pressure her for anything. I allowed her to feel like she's in control of the situation. Because my approach was genuine, it was respectable, and she understood everything I said, you might actually end up walking away with the number.
Mm-hmm.
Fellas who are trying a woman in the shallow end of the pool do not need to respond to rejection. I get it.
Yeah.
You really, really got embarrassed in front of your boys.
Uh-huh.
Take the L, my guy. Because if you don't take this L,
oh man,
you are proving to everybody you deserve to get the ratchet kiddie pool women you've been getting. You are not ready to level up. Okay?
Yeah.
Take the L.
Take
Try
it
again another time. Reevaluate why you took the L. Maybe the woman you shot your shot at wasn't the woman you thought she. Maybe she was a kiddie puller in disguise. They do that sometimes.
Yeah.
Take the L, bruh. Your guys might laugh at you, but you can always come back. But you didn't go for it, my nigga. I think you the one that's scared of pussy. And boom, just like that, you took your L and you put the heat on your boy. Now he's going to go out here with some half-ass game, and he's going to fail. Now L's are everywhere, and we all just going to go on about our business. Take your L's, my guy. Taking your L's are very important in life. All right?
You ain't got to have.
Now let's just say, let's just say you were successful and you got that number.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Fellas, I know these women are getting a little bit slick now. They're either giving you fake numbers, or since us guys are getting smart, we're calling right away so we can make sure our number goes into her phone. And let's just say her phone does ring. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's in there. Don't trip if she got a prepaid number that she gave you. Don't trip if you got her Google Voice number. Don't trip if it's a texting app number. You want to know why you shouldn't trip, my guys? Because she don't know you. She's not going to give you direct access to her because she don't know you. It is your job to make it feel comfortable for you to have the real number.
You gotta work for it.
So don't trip. Don't trip. Remember, you're going for a shallow end girl. So there's going to be a little bit of work here. You have just promoted yourself to team lead. So you now have to lead. All right? You can't just shoot your shot and get off easy with taking a chick to get some KFC wings now. You got to do the work. All right. So you got the number. Now you have to sit here and ask yourself, what's next? Now, for some odd reason, kiddie pool men who actually get intermediate women do kiddie pool stuff. Like text all the time. Send dick pics that are not asked for. Immediately dive and revert to sexual conversations. If you have a woman's number, and the only way that you know how to move the conversation forward is to crack some kind of sexual innuendo, delete her number because you are not ready for this level. Stop using skips and cheat codes because you're not ready for this level. You are still a kiddie pool nigga. So stay there.
Word.
Okay? But if you feel that you are ready for this level, this is what you're going to do next. you are going to, while you're with your buddies, allowing a little bit time between when you got the number and when you think she may have made it to her second destination, you're going to send a nice, simple note. Like, hey, I know I just got you. It's like, hey, this is Tone. I just got your number. I'm just going to say, hey, I can't wait to get to know you a little bit better. I'm usually free on Fridays. If you have any time, maybe we can go ahead and go on a date this Friday. If not, cool. Let me know what works for you. You have just showed initiative to this girl. You're not trying to smash. You're not trying to see what that thing smell like. You are putting forth an initiative to do exactly what you said in the conversation. Get to know her better, maybe go on a date. So you have given her a date and time that works for you at this moment. And more importantly, you have allowed her to make a decision of does this work? Does this not work? Don't make it right away. If y'all clubbing on the 4th of July and us on a Wednesday and you want to make a date on Friday, I can get that because it's the weekend, but maybe give it a little bit of time. Okay? Also, be courteous. Hey, when you get home, go ahead, or when you get time, give me a call. Key thing here is give me a call. Fellas, if you've ever sat down and had just regular conversation with women, and you've ever heard a woman say, I don't like text, I'd rather the person to call me. That is an intermediate woman telling you right away, I already hang out in the shallow end. Fellas, talking to a woman on the phone helps you more than it helps her. You see, when you're on the phone, you are allowed to gauge her audio when she's answering questions. You see, you can treat that first phone call like an interview. You can ask basic questions. You can ask things about them. You can even ask it. A good icebreaker was like, okay, what made you give me your number? Simplest thing in the world. Simplest icebreaker. She's going to tell you, well, I thought you were cute. Or, I like the way you talk to me. Or, you were just nice. Or, I've been checking you out the whole night. She's going to give you an open-ended answer. Text messages can be misinterpreted from some of the simplest things. I can say, hey, what do you want to eat? And because you didn't get a response for 10 minutes, you might be freaking the hell out for no reason. And the only reason why she didn't text you back was she put her phone in the drawer because she's at work. She's not brushing you off. She just can't answer. So a phone call is a simple way to get basic things together. Okay? Number 2, the phone allows you to see if this bitch is crazy. Okay? The way she responds to stuff verbally. If every single time she says something, she has to end it with, ow, you don't want to deal with her. That's a kiddie pool chick. You get your signs right away. If she picks up the phone and the city girls are playing in the background, you might want to question what you're getting yourself into. Like, hold on. Did you just get off work? Are you on your way to the club? If she tells you, I'm just sipping on some Hennessy, run away. No offense to Cal. But I don't want to
I was about to intervene and be like, well, that could go either way. That could go either way. Sipping on some Hennessy, so what kind of Hennessy? Is it the verses or is it the VS? Is it the VSOP? Is it the privilege?
But
that depends.
But not being
on the verses.
But see, here's a key thing. You notice how Kyle just sat there and broke down the type of Hennessy? That's a conversation right there.
You knew
just
that
because
was
she's So that's like right there, you've taken a basic conversation and you've made it open-ended. And you notice how Cal was like, well, if she's drinking this kind, she's kind of ratchet. But if she's drinking this kind, she might got a little sophisticated ratchet to her. But if she's drinking this, oh, she's special. Okay? I might want to continue the conversation. The conversation is great. Okay? And then the third reason for this conversation, guys, confirmation. Confirmation occurs verbally. You are now confirmed that what you thought about this woman is exactly what you're getting. You know she can hold a conversation. You know what her laugh sounds like. You know whether or not this date that you're going to go on is going to be interesting. By having the conversation verbally, you are now deciding what you want to do. Because while talking to her, you can find out that she might not want to do the club or dinner and a movie. She might want to try to go rock climbing. Or during the conversation, y'all might talk about the festivals that's coming up. She may have slightly dropped a hint. Like, oh, well, me and my girls are supposed to be going to Bastille Days this weekend. Oh, what day y'all going? Oh, yeah, we might go Friday, but I don't know. Well, why don't we do this? Go kick with your girls at Bastille Days Friday. That way you can have your girls' time. And then Saturday, me and you can go on a one-on-one time so we can have our time. How's that work for you?
That's some weird.
You're just giving her the opportunity to enjoy something from two perspectives. Now, she's going to Bastille Days with her girls on Friday. So she can wild and have fun. But I guarantee you the whole time she on that with her girls, she's looking at, okay, we can go here, we can go there. Ooh, I can get this and wear this tomorrow. Or, well, I really want to go down there and hear them perform, but I'm not going to because my girls, they don't like shit like that. I'll make him take me over there. You have just allowed her to do stuff that she's not going to be able to do. You've opened it up. Now, here's the irony behind best out of all things. That's kitschy. So now you have to the whole date that talks about your financial status. Now, I'm not saying, guys, hide your financial status. But if a woman picks a date that requires your financial status to be exposed, that is not the woman for you. Not because you might not be able to afford her, because let's be honest, you might not be able to afford her, but you don't have to feel like you must overly impress and oversell yourself. If you can set up a date that you feel not only comfortable, but allow her to be comfortable in, you are guaranteed a second date before the first date even happened. It is only your fault that date can go wrong.
Yep.
Okay?
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Now, so far, guys, I have basically given you how to start playing in the shallow end. It is now time for you to take off your floaties and your noodles and go out here and actually navigate the single life in the shallow end. There's a problem though, guys. You have to know what women are actually in the shallow end. Now, earlier I broke down the ratchetness of the women in the kiddie pool, but the women in the shallow end are a completely different breed of sophisticated ratchet. You have your pick-me's over here. You have your women who have dated before. You have your I'm just doing me. You have your Miss Independent who can be mistaken as being too independent. You can have your I only do stuff with my girls women. You can have I'm a homebody. The shallow end of the pool has so many different varieties of women in the pool that you might have to figure out what do you want out the dating pool. This is the reason why it is so important to make sure you have leveled up before you attempt to date any women in this pool, because there are variables. Now, first and foremost, pay attention to the woman. The first date is so important with the shallow end woman because you have to understand how this one ticks. Let's use a pick-me for an example, okay? Because they seem to be popping up like daisies this day and age, so they're the easiest ones to work with. A Pick me woman, for those who don't know what that is a woman who wants to emphasize all the things about her that makes her such a great catch. All the things that she will do for her next relationship that the last relationship did not appreciate. She is always the ones who are quick to say how much of a provider that she can be for her man, how much she would take care of him in the hard times, how much she will hold her man down if she could just get one to look her way. Pick me women are desperate. Pick me women are very easily to manipulate. Pick me women will talk the talk but don't know how to walk the walk, because they are saying and presenting the smoke and mirrors to make you feel like you are catching a deep end woman. The sad part about these women is these are the women who get their heart broken the most, because of this level of vulnerability makes it easy for kiddie pool men to get good quality women and fuck them up. You see, a kiddie pool man will tell that pick me woman everything she wants to hear. Okay? She would tell him, like, baby, I got you. I'll do this for you. I'll do that for you. And then she believes it. A pick me woman wants to know that she has a good man, so she falls for having a job, having his own car, having a little degree under his belt, talking like he has some sort of sense to him. A pick me woman has been broken by, in one time in her life, a kiddie pool man, may even be her baby daddy. So the simple fact that you are not what her baby daddy or ex-husband or previous relationship was automatically makes her work even harder to make sure that you do not leave her. We women get cheated on all the time because they purposefully turn a blind eye at the behaviors of us men.
The pick me women are the reason.
Pick me women will justify.
The pick me women are the reason why the side chick was invented and accepted.
Exactly.
The pick me women.
I was getting ready to get there.
Oh, sorry.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. It's cool. Sometimes I need to stop and actually breathe. So thank you. So because of the pick me women, these are the women that are easily preyed on the most in regards to the shallow end. I'm gonna be honest with you. We've had pick me women here at Tonedefradio. I have pick me women in my everyday life. I work with pick me women. Okay, I see them quite often. I see them everywhere I go. Okay. These are women that you as men have to make a conscious decision that when you know that you are dealing with a pick-me woman, what your intentions is. You can always tell a pick-me woman, because even on the first day, she is going to tell you everything about her that would make her wifey material when you are not even there yet mentally.
Yeah.
Because they want you to feel that this is going to be the best catch you ever had, when you are just throwing your reel in there for a minute to see what's going on. You're not ready to get in this pool. You're just doing what you need to do. All right. So be careful with pick me women, because they can sometimes turn to crazy bitches. But that's the next one. The crazy bitches. Crazy bitches are really pick me women who feel that they need to use anger and aggression as their method to weed out men. They feel like if I'm mean and rude and angry and volatile, that this guy, if he really wants to be with me, will tolerate it. You will tolerate the loud yelling and the verbally expressing themselves at an octave way above normal. They have no problem with making a scene in public, destroying property. The problem with the crazy bitches is these are kiddie pool women who grew up but never changed their kiddie pool ways. So sometimes you can come across a crazy bitch and she can still be a kiddie pool woman, but because she has a few standards about herself in her life, she accidentally got into the shallow end because this is where her girlfriends are. She knows she don't supposed to be over here. You definitely have to be worried with these women, because you have to ask yourself in the beginning, Is this a defense mechanism, or is this really her mental justification?
Is it
okay? Because sometimes if it's just a defense mechanism, once you put her in her place, tell her all that's not necessary and break her, she will humble completely. She will give you the utmost respect and actually ride and die for you to the end of the world. This is why a lot of men love crazy chicks, because they tend to know which ones are the defense mechanism ones. But you do tend to come across the ones where they're broken vases that were not glued back together right. They're fragile. They still have their male issues, but they have to move along because they don't have time to stop and worry about what the last man did to her. When in actuality, she's still broken from it.
I ain't gonna say why they really like
it. Well, that too, but you gotta remember, it's not always about that, because like we said earlier, Jacob, after a while, we don't want it like we used to. And because we don't want it like we used to, because they don't have anything else to present. See what I'm saying? All right. The next one, which is another common one you see, guys, Miss Independent. Okay? Miss Independent is the woman who set a goals out for herself and have achieved them. She's usually pretty good in her job, may even have a high-ranking supervision or maybe even upper management position. She may be making more money than you. She has degrees. She deals in sophisticated situations. She is the woman that will always make any man that wants to approach them feel like they're not good enough for her. When in actuality, Miss Independent is the most loneliest bitch in this bunch. Okay?
And the horniest.
Because Miss Independent has built a wall around herself because she doesn't want to be hurt. And a lot of times Miss Independent has never felt hurt. She will always find excuses why she don't need a man, because she's created a life where there is no man. Meanwhile, Miss Independent is probably still fucking on every last ex she's ever had because she's worried about her body count. So she recycled bad relationships and deals with toxic masculinity because she feels like that's just what happens in her environment. She might champion women and be the feminist, but deep down inside, she is the number one chick who wants to be submissive to her man. She is sick and tired of always having to be the tough one. She wants to come home to a man where she don't have to do nothing but just make food and suck his dick. The problem with Miss Independent, guys, is we run from them. We tend to look at our merits and try to match up with them. She got this kind of job and I only work here. She drives this kind of car and I only got this. She got her own place and a skyrise where I'm still staying with my mama. Fellas, I'm here to tell you right away, number one, most of the time Miss Independent don't give a fuck about none of that because she's not after you for what you have. Miss Independent makes the number one mistake and always dates a man for his potential. Okay? Because it's not where you are, it's where you're going. The number one way to obtain a Miss Independent is to be 100% upfront and honest with Miss Independent. You see, Miss Independent don't take no bullshit. Because the minute you bullshit or you lie to her, you have proven the point that she's created to begin with. Your job is not to prove her point. Your job is to be honest with her. Miss Independent will actually respect you more. If you take Miss Independent on a date to Bastille Days, Miss Independent is not expecting you to buy her stuff and do all that stuff with her. Miss Independent wants you to make her feel secure, safe, and you actually give a damn about her. Now, I'm not saying be lovey-dovey and start holding hands and making kissy faces and stuff. No, when you're there, you want to make sure that all of your attention is 100% on her. And sometimes to do that is to go a little bit above and beyond and do some of the most simplest things that we as men tend to not do. Number one, before you go pick up Miss Independent, make sure your phone is off. Not turned off, but maybe in a do not disturb status. Smartwatches will allow your messages to go right there. So cut off the ringer, and if your watch light, look at the watch, look down, and see if it's something important. That way, if mama's in the hospital and you need to make sure the hospital get a hold of her, you're not brushing your mama off to give Miss Independent all your time. You're prioritizing your time. If Cal calls me and say, hey, bro, we trying to go to the movies, and I know I'm on a date with Miss Independent, I'm going to be like, hey, bro, I got a date this afternoon. I'll hit you up. Or maybe even just ignore the call altogether and send one of them quick messages. I'll call back later. Miss Independent will see this and she will respect this. Miss Independent is very, very, very attentive to details. So every little thing you do is going to make Miss Independent look for a reason to not want to go on that second date. Your job is to cool, calm, and collectively just focus on her. Now, let's be honest here, man. Miss Independent knows that she is not the only person you are dating. Matter of fact, if you're in the dating phase, in most cases, nobody should be the only person you're dating. You're only dating, especially with this being the first date. Okay? So, how to get Miss Independent? Number one, make plans, stick to them. If you hit her up and say, Friday, I want to go on a date, I get off at this time, what time works for you? You are telling Miss Independent Friday is the date we are going out. Do not allow Miss Independent to pick another day because she's going to think that you're indecisive. Give her Friday, but give her a time. 9 o'clock works for me. Cool. Pick you up at 9 o'clock or meet me at such and such. Or even better, Miss Independent don't want you to be too over controlling. This is when you hit her with, well, 9 o'clock is perfectly fine. Would you like for me to pick you up or would you like to meet somewhere? By giving Miss Independent choices but still controlling the narrative, she respects you more for that. She's intrigued. Even though you might be a jerk, Miss Independent is going to give you a chance because you are at least being precise and attentive. You're at the still days with Miss Independent. You are checking out the sites. You are communicating with her. You are talking about what's going on around here. Importantly, you are going to know her. Don't down talk anything Miss Independent. You're not being a kid ass for Miss Independence. You're actually just being attentive to what she's doing. She's trying to be the VP of an important company that's a Fortune 500 company, but she's having issues getting to the boss. Ask her what has she tried already. Show some attentiveness to what Miss Independent is trying to talk about. If she's talking about this, allow her to speak about it. Find out what's passionate. Make suggestions that maybe help her look outside the normal box. Now she's looking at your intelligence here, guys. You ain't did nothing outside the normal that you wouldn't have did with anybody else, but simply you're making it all about her. Don't forget to sprinkle some of you in there either, because now she's going to think you're being secretive because you never talk about you. But also be careful with what you tell her too. Number one mistake we make, men, is we divulge entirely too much information too fast. This is what Pick Me does. This is why we cheat on Pick Me. This is also why men don't get picked for second dates, because you told too much. If you have kids, don't be ashamed to say that you have kids. But if you're not with the baby mother, explain, I'm not with my baby mama, but I'm going to be honest with you. We are not on the same page mentally. Like, there was a point in time I was out here doing A, B, C, and D. I was real childish about it. I feel bad of how I treated her, but we co-parent great. Accept responsibilities of the situation, present the situation, and let her know that she's not about to deal with a crazy baby mama situation. Miss Independent is perfectly fine with that. You keep her over there, we do our thing over here. Life will not go crazy. Do not try to force Miss Independent to take responsibilities of being stepmama to your kids. Matter of fact, wait until she asks to meet your kids or say anything about your kids before you present your kids to her. Okay? Just be 100% honest. Miss Independent might actually have kids of her own. Don't ask to meet her kids. Do not use your kids being in the same age category as an opportunity to have a play date. You don't want that. Because if you and Miss Independent does not work out and your kids have bonded, you have created a situation that is going to be weird. Okay?
That's a fact.
Enjoy the date at Bastille Days. Allow Miss Independent to be independent, but be there to support her. All three of these types of women that I have just spoken about are going to be majority of the women you come across in the kiddie pool, in the shallow end, unfortunately. And guess what, guys? All three of these types of women will give you the draws, so don't work towards for the draws. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, Miss Independent will probably be the first one to call you over one day to give you the draws before the other ones will. Because the pick-me wants to be reserved. She wants to be a lady. She wants to save herself. She doesn't want to seem like a little hoe. In actuality, she probably wants to suck your dick on the first date. Okay?
Right, so.
Just being honest with you. Pick-me has been single for so long, she just wants a man to touch every hole in her body. Let's be honest. All right? And then crazy chicks feel like their pussy is the end-all, be-all. So if you put up with her crazy, she gonna give you some pussy because you put up with her crazy, regardless if it's just how she is or if it was a defense mechanism and she needs you to check her. So don't chase the pussy, guys.
Nah, don't chase.
The pussy will come. The pussy will come. All right. Shit, I talk. All right. A final step. You've had the first date. Let's just say the date went great. Fellas, do not stop with any one of the three women that you picked from this. Now, there are other ones in there. I only targeted the three main ones that you'll find around here no matter what you do. You do have some, homebodies. You have some, I work a lot, but I don't have time. You will have some broken home ones. You'll still come across them, but it's a little bit harder to come across these ones, especially Miss Homebody, because Miss Homebody is a fantastic woman. Mm-hmm. She don't go out, so you don't meet her too often. You come across Miss Homebody because of a friend. You come across Miss Homebody because she was out on girls' night and everybody else went to go have fun and she stood there by herself. Miss Homebody is probably somebody from work. So you don't come across Miss Homebody too often, but you will know a homebody because you'll ask her about a lot of things that's going out in public and she won't know nothing about it. All right? How much time we got? Because I want to see. Okay, we've probably already hit an hour mark for sure, so I'm going to go ahead and try to wrap this part up. So guys, you've already now got approval. You got the very first date. I gave you the blueprint to get the date. You have had a successful date, no matter which one of the three women that you've chosen in regards to it. The biggest issue is now that the date is over, what do you do next? A lot of guys do not know how to approach the second date concept. A lot of guys do not know how to continue to carry on the conversation after the date. Usually after the first date, you have either piqued her interest or she's made her decision that this is going to be just the fling or the dreadful. You're interesting, you're just not my type. Once again, guys, take your L's and move on. Sometimes if you are really vibing with a chick, respectfully ask her, it's like, hey, I know, the first date didn't go too well. What happened? Did I do something wrong? Did our energy? And some ladies, especially Miss Independent, will tell you, take that L as a lesson learned. If you are smart, or let me rephrase that, if you are actually truly knowing that you really want a second chance with her, do not be afraid to ask for it. Ask for a do-over. Like, okay, I have to apologize. I know that date did not go as planned. There's a lot of stuff there. I'm not going to lie to you. I was uncomfortable when it came to you. I'm not accustomed to dating a woman who may be a little bit more successful to me. I respect that 100%. That is such the dopest thing in the world. But sometimes that can be a little bit intimidating. After getting to know you on this date, talking to you, getting the vibe from you, I want to see if we can try this all over again. Maybe this time let's go somewhere a little bit different, a little bit more intimate. How would you feel about us going to dinner? The worst that she's going to tell you is no. She's going to respect your honesty that this is the reason why the vibe was off. Hell, if something's going on in your life, don't be afraid to say it. One thing women love is vulnerability. Never be ashamed to be vulnerable, but just don't be oversensitive.
Right.
Women want their man to share, to express themselves, but not be a big ass sap about it. So if the date went wrong because while you were on your watch, you got a text that one of your buddies was in the hospital. There's nothing you can do because he's in the hospital. You can't just jump up and go there because it's not in this state. But just say, hey, I apologize. You know what? I enjoyed myself. This date was great. I would love to see you again, but I have to apologize to you. Like, my mind wasn't here. When we were at such and such, I got a text message from my sister that my buddy back in California got shot. And I didn't want to just run off and get on the phone because that would have been rude to you. So I'm kind of like, I'm not here right now. Is it possible we could get a do-over? What are you doing next weekend? Allow time. This way, she might, we can go out next week. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope everything okay. What happened? You've shown a soft side to you that wasn't too fucking soft. Okay? So what you do during this time frame here, guys, is you do communicate with her every week. Remember, the whole purpose of this is to get to know her. So now, learn about a new dynamic with her. Like, hey, hon, I know I'm a hun person. I had a whole conversations with women about how some don't like this, but sometimes you got to gauge and feel. You got to feel the person to know if this is okay. Because I was talking to my homegirl Envy the other day, and I said, hey, hon, she's like, didn't we just have a conversation about that? Like, look, dog, I know you at such and such. You gonna get these huns, so shut up. She laughed about it. You gonna get these huns. But no, just, because you are building something with her, be careful of what jargon that you use if it's okay. Yeah. Know, or maybe even during the conversations when you were doing the dating phase or on the date and Bastille days in this particular case, find out how she feels about words such as in hun, beautiful, sweetheart. These things might be okay for her, or she might be like, just call me such and such. Now, sometimes these also can give you an idea of how the date is going too, because she's basically telling you, like, nigga, you finna get friend zoned, so don't even try to give me a pet name or anything of that. Figure something out. If she's okay with the huns in the conversations, lead with it, but also lead with the little, like, hey, hun, just checking up on you this morning once again. I totally and completely enjoyed myself the other night. I'm sorry that I ended up messing up the mood. I hope your day is fantastic. When you get an opportunity, give me a call, or if you can't call, just text me, and I'll talk to you later. Boom. That's all you had to do. You don't need to lay it on thick with some poetry or, oh man, your smile's, your smile is so bright. It's my sunset. You're not there yet, my guy. You got to be in a courting phase where you start doing stuff like that. But for now, just do the simple, like, hey, thinking about you. Boom. Don't even say no. Leave it there. Like, hey, just thinking about you. Hit me up when you get a chance. Keep it moving. Don't sweat it. Yeah. Don't over exaggerate. Don't do nothing like that. Don't bombard. If you sent 2 text messages that day and you haven't gotten a response yet, wait. One, she may not even be ghosting you. It may just be busy day at work. Okay? Let it be. Let it be. All right? If a day go by, you didn't hear nothing, and you do another one, it's like, hey, just got done. Like, hey, just checking up on you. Just got off the phone with my friend. He's going to be okay. I'm going to probably go out and see him in a couple of weeks and whatnot. So when you get a chance, hit me up. Boom. Now, you told her why the date was a bad date. You apologized for the bad date. You You scheduled a new date, and then you gave her a follow-up on what about the date that made it bad because of your friend. You're keeping her in the loop. By you coming back and keeping her in the loop about a situation that just occurred, you are actually giving her confirmation that you just wasn't making up something. Because not only did you just tell her your friend is okay, this is what happened, you also are going to California to see him. All right. Now, at this point in time, if you still haven't heard from her 48 hours later, talking up as an L, my guy, take your L's and move on with your life. Let's just say she just didn't talk to you the day before because she really got busy at work. She planned on calling you because she didn't want to text, and she's sorry. Guarantee you're going to get the second date now. Because now she did something that put you in a bad predicament. And as a woman, they know how it feels to not get a response back from somebody. So she's going to give you a little bit more sympathy now, and you're actually going to get that second date. Now, depending on how much you vibe, she may even pay for it. But as men, let's be realistic here. We don't expect that in some cases. If you are a guy who gladly would take the woman that you're just dating for paying a date and she didn't initially offer it to begin with before the date started, you are a kiddie pool nigga. Go back down to the level you belong at. Okay? If she offers it because of errors that she made, cool. Be a real man and take it, but don't overindulge it. I know some of us grew up in an era where when you go take somebody on a date, it's natural for you to pay for the date, as the mind state that you have been raised on. A lot of us think like that. I have my days where I think like that, but then there's days I'm broke and my wife takes care of stuff, and I kiss her and love her and want to touch her in happy places and whatnot, but that's a whole nother story. It's not about me. You can easily decline it. You can happily decline it, but there's a way you decline it to not make a woman feel she got a sucker. Because you can easily say, you know what, I asked you on a date first. I will gladly we can do whatever you want to. I'm going to pay for this. The next date or a date in the future, it's all you. That's how you decline it. A date in the future. Bye. A date in the future. That means that she's not obligated to pay for the next date or any dates going forward, but the option is on the table that you respect her financial stability enough that if you do go on more dates, if she wants to pay for one or two of them, it's cool. You don't feel used, she don't feel used. You see what I'm saying? You keep that balance. You keep control at the same time. Putting all that together, you squared away, you talk to her, you understand what's going on. You make sure you have more getting to know conversations. At this point in time, your questions should be a little bit more in depth. Your questions should be a lot more personal. It should no longer sound like an interview for a job, but more so you're picking her brain. I tend to tell a lot of guys this. Go online and sometimes look for questions to ask if you don't know what to ask. There are tons and tons of websites that have questions to ask on a date. Take these ridiculous Caucasian ass questions and just modify them to the way you think. That way you're not asking bullet points, but you're more so finding out ways to move the conversation along. Women love to talk. We know this because they talk to us when we're not even paying them no damn attention. So they love to talk. But more importantly, they love to engage. Okay? At this point in time, you have now found someone that you can date and you enjoy. You guys have created your thing. There's things that you both know that you like, places that you both know you like to go, music that you both know you like and don't like to listen to. You now have a thing. So now your relationship has a theme. You can build your next dating experience around something personalized for the person you're going with. If you know that the woman that you're talking to loves plays, like Diary of a Mad Black Woman was her favorite play. Next fucking time you see Tyler Perry do something, let's go. Go see a black gospel play. They be funny as shit anyway. Go see some stuff like that. Crack jokes with her about the fact that Beyonce redid Before I Let Go and has fucked up the black community. Whatever. You know her now. You know her now. Because she knows you now. So you understand each other. By the third, fourth, fifth date, there should be no excuses of what y'all can do. By this point in time, guys, at-home dates are perfectly okay. Remember earlier when I said looking for a woman, pick-me's tend to always want to brag about what they can and can't do? If you happen to know you got a pick-me, this is when you pull her card. So you talk about your cooking, you know what? Why don't we go? Why don't you come by my house and I'll cook for you? Or what you doing Sunday? I can come through and maybe we can, have dinner at your place. Put her on the spot. Now you don't have to make the coming home to dinner feel so awkward. By the third or fourth date, she should be comfortable around you. By the third or fourth date, you should be comfortable to go to her place. She should feel secure enough that you are at her place. By the third or fourth date, if you guys can't keep going out to eat or you don't want to go out to eat this week, coming over to have a dinner date at her place. If you happen to have a cool chick ordering a pizza and watching a comedy show on Netflix might be perfectly fine. Now, the only issue with this, my guys, and I'm be blatantly honest with you, because she's coming to your house for the very first time, does not mean that you are going to fuck. Get that thought out your head before she gets there, and I guarantee you this will not be awkward. Even if she in the back of her mind says, I am going to put this pussy on his ass, don't you be the one to make the mistake and jump the gun first.
Quite honestly, if you're not thinking about it and you just going with the flow, that's when you will fuck.
Exactly. And I was getting ready to get there. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. Pay attention to her. By the third or fourth date, you guys should have had some kind of sexual innuendo conversation. At this point in time, you should understand where her mind is when it comes to sex. Some women will test us, guys, of saying, hey, I'm on my period. You sure you still want to get together tonight and watch a movie? Hell yeah, bring your ass over here. Make sure you got some extra tampons. You want me to go stop at the store and pick you up some? Act like you give a damn about her situation and you want to accommodate her situation. Because what's happening is, in this case, some women might actually be on their cycle, but they want to see how you're going to behave when Mother Nature takes over and crashes the party. Can you still be a good man? Or are you going to sit there with a hard dick and a bad attitude? Matter of fact, be real with you guys. If you know the date started at 7 and she's supposed to be coming by your crib, go rub one out at 6:15. That way you rub one out enough that you cool, but it's enough time in between that just in case she does want to fuck, you can. Just saying. Don't be afraid to rub one out. All right. At this point in time, my guys, you have taken a shallow pool woman and you have now progressed yourself to what will be considered possibly the courting phase. Now, we're going to save all that for the next episode because I'm not going to get into the courting phase. With that being said, make sure you check out all episodes of the Man Cave on all streaming platforms. That's iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, or wherever else you listen to your podcast as. Make sure you check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Twitter. Matter of fact, make sure you check out TDR everywhere you see the word TDR Network at. That's us. Check out other shows such as The Breakdown, with new episodes that just recently dropped from them. Def Fresh Show, Hostly Awkward, Real Bar Talk, I Don't Know Podcast, Urban Retcon Squad, The Urban Social Scientist, Adventures of the Black Nerds. Literally, whatever you want is here, people. So make sure you check us out. That's on Linktree. If you need the link to all of us, that's the link, which is linktr.ee/TDR Pod Network. Link is in the description below. With that being said, we are out of here, people. Peace.